Define yourself radically as one beloved by God. This is the true self. Every other identity is illusion. So says Brennan Manning, who also said, "My deepest awareness of myself is that I am deeply loved by Jesus Christ, and that I have done nothing to earn it or deserve it." Firstly, I would say, to identify simply as a human being or as an animal, a biological organism, to identify as such doesn't constitute a self-deception or a deluded view of the self. Brennan is saying my view of the self is the one true view. All else is false. Narrow, yes? And the "I'm a miserable sinner yet Jesus loves me anyway" stuff. This reveals an unhealthy mentality. Perhaps a childish insecurity, or maybe just a product of ruthless indoctrination. I don't know. That's all just my opinion. Quit questioning God and start trusting him, said Joel Osteen, to which I say, nah. C.S. Lewis said, "In God, you come up against something which is in every respect immeasurably superior to yourself. Unless you know God as that, and therefore know yourself as nothing in comparison, you do not know God at all." C.S. Lewis, he was a true believer, Christian apologist. I think he died on the same day that Kennedy was assassinated. Anyway, yeah. God is great. You ain't nothing next to the Almighty. Got ya. Alrighty, Chief. Stop asking God to bless what you're doing. Find out what God's doing. It's already blessed, says Bono. I don't think that that's going to have any effect on people's behaviour there, Mr. Bono, well intended as it may be. God is the same everywhere. Leo Tolstoy, War and Peace. God isn't the same everywhere, though, that's the thing. He, or she, or it, can be several different things on the same street or in the same house, or even the same church. Love is the only future God offers. Victor Hugo, Les Miserables. I guess it depends which God we're talking about. Some gods offer a future of misery and eternal torment. If you look back into antiquity, plenty of gods, so many gods, and by no means are all of them offering love in the exclusive sense, or in any sense for that matter. Here's a bit of Einstein for you. I don't try to imagine a personal God. It suffices to stand in awe at the structure of the world, insofar as it allows our inadequate senses to appreciate it. That sounds far more healthy to me than being taken with the notion of a personal God, a parent who lives in the sky and always wants the best for his kids, no matter how much they misbehave. Yeah. It's our faith that activates the power of God. Joel Osteen again. Taken alone, that quote kind of makes God sound cheap, doesn't it? Somehow limited and weak. Yeah. Joel wouldn't have meant it that way, but to my ears, yeah. It's far more comforting to think God listened and said no, than to think that nobody's out there, said Mitch Albom. Well, Mitch, it may be comforting to you, but what is comforting isn't necessarily true, of course. You want someone to listen to you, that's completely understandable, mate, but not everything a person says needs to be heard by anyone. Yeah. Sometimes talking to yourself is simply about getting your thoughts in order. We all do it. Don't sit there and pretend that that's not the case. Come on. A.W. Tozer said, "The fact of God is necessary for the fact of man. Think God away, and man has no ground for existence." But many have thought deities away, and people still find grounds for existence. Mr. Tozer also said, "It is doubtful whether God can bless a man greatly until he has hurt him deeply." Maybe this speaks to the life experiences of A.W. Tozer, who grew up in poverty in the United States. Yeah. Xenophanes, ancient Greek philosopher to finish. Did I pronounce that right? Anyway, he said, "Men always make gods in their own image." If that's true, what are true believers really worshipping?